Alright, so what we're doing today is solving factored polynomials. Okay. What does that mean? Well, we just got done factoring. And when we did our factoring, it made our problems look like this. Factoring, solving polynomials. So what we want to do to solve our polynomials is we want to factor first, then solve all, I'm going to call them many equations. Okay, we're going to factor first, then we're going to solve all many equations. Okay, what does that mean? Well, if I look at example 1, it's already factored. This is factored form. This is factored form, okay? And what I see with factored form is I see an x plus 2 and x plus 5, right? So we're going to have two answers. We're going to have two answers. So in this problem, we're going to have two answers because there's two different x's. Well, I'm talking about this many equations because we have a x plus 2 equals 0 and we have an x minus 5 equals 0. Okay? Well, it's pretty easy to solve. I mean, honestly, right? So we have an x plus 2 equals 0 and x plus 5 equals 0. So if I solve, go minus 2, x equals negative 2. If I go plus 5, x equals 5. That's it. Isn't that easy? Now what does this mean? Okay, I want to show you what this means. Eventually, why are we doing this? Eventually we're going to graph parabolas. And eventually it means this. What do you notice about the graph I put down? Well, I didn't put a very good jot there. Yeah, but what about these points here? What do you see about these points here? And those are the answers to my equations, right? So we're finding, when we do this, we're finding the zeros of a graph. But that's still a couple of days away, okay? This is all like a couple of days away. But for right now, that's what we're doing, is really finding the zeros of a graph. Okay, how about example 2? It's already factored, okay? It's already factored, so I have many equations, don't I? Many equations. So if I have my many equations, I'll set this up as an x plus 5 equals 0 and a 2x minus 1 equals 0. It's that easy if it's already factored. And this is already factored, okay? Eventually, when we get to the back side, they won't be factored, but we know how to factor, okay? So everybody with me? I just put x plus 5 equals 0 and 2x plus 1 equals 0. That's all I did. Now I can solve for this, right? This is easy. I'm just going to go minus 5, x equals negative 5. That's one answer. And then I'm going to go plus 1, 2x equals 1. I'll divide by 2, and I get x equals positive 1/2. There's my two answers. Thumbs up, that's pretty easy, right? Everybody agree? Should be easy. Thumbs up, let me see thumbs up. Okay, now, example 3 is the same thing, but there really are too many equations, because I'm going to rewrite this like this. And I wrote it like that because of the squared, right? Something squared means something times itself. I will get two answers, but the two answers will be the same thing twice, okay? So I have many equations. It's factored. Let's solve it. So I'm going to take my 2x minus 6 equals 0 and my other 2x minus 6 equals 0. Now we really only need to solve for one of them. You guys agree with that? Because it's really the same answer twice. So if I go plus 6, 2x equals 6, divide by 2, and I get x equals 3, right? And of course, same thing on the other equation. We're going to get the same answer. We really are plus 6, 2x equals 6, and x equals 3. So we get 3 twice. So what does that mean? I mean, I'm giving you a little bit of future information, but what if we had a graph that looked like this? Right? This is an illustration of our answer. It hits it at 3 twice. Weird for me to say that, but in a sense it hits it at 3 twice. Okay, example 4. How many answers do you think example 4 should have?
2.
Well, we're going to add one more. We're going to have 3 answers. Why am I saying we should have 3 answers? Example 4 is going to have 3 answers. How come? Why 3 answers? Well, there's a 3x, a 2x plus 5, and a 2x minus 5. Well, I've got 3 mini equations, so and I have 3 x's, don't I? I've got 1, 2, 3 x's, so I'm going to have 3 answers. So let's write our 3 mini equations. One is 3x equals 0, and a 2x plus 5 equals 0, and a 2x minus 5 equals 0, okay? Well, all right. I'm going to divide by 3, x equals 0. That's one answer. I mean, 0 divided by 3 is still 0, right? So minus 5, I've got 2x equals negative 5. All right, so minus 5, and then divide by 2, I have x equals either negative 5 halves. That's kind of what Miles did. Remember, Miles, you had that 13/5? I like that answer. Or negative 2.5 or negative 2.5, whatever you guys want. Doesn't really matter to me. Any of those answers is fine. And the third one, we're really going to have 3 answers. We really are going to have 3 answers, plus 5, 2x equals 5, divide by 2, x is a positive 2.5. Okay, 3 x's, 3 mini equations, 3 answers. Okay, 3 x's, 3 mini equations, 3 answers. Thumbs up, does that make sense? Okay, good. All right, now, turn the page. Now, example 5, we need mini equations. I don't have mini equations, so we need factor. We need to make 2, we need mini equations. But before I can have many equations, I need to factor first. Well, we did this at the beginning of the class. And I asked you, what do these 2 terms have in common? Common factoring. What do they have in common? X and a
5.
Awesome. Multiple of 5 and an x. So I'm going to take out a multiple of 5 and an x. I would have left, well, 5 goes into 5 one time, and I took out an x, so I'd have an x left over. And 5 goes into 10 2 times, but I took out the x. Now I have my mini equations, and now I can solve it. Okay, so my mini equation, I'm going to go 5x equals 0, and 1x plus 2 equals 0, right? I'll solve, I'll go divide by 5. Well, 0 divided by 5 is 0. It's a number. 0 is an answer. And minus 2, x equals negative 2. Okay, now, I want to show you one more thing. Why are these the answers? Check it out. I just want you to watch. Just watch. I'm going to put into my original equation these answers. So let's see, 5 times 0 squared plus 10 times 0 is, yeah, so this answer gives me an answer of 0. Now watch negative 2. 5 times negative 2 squared plus 10 times negative 2 So what I found were the numbers that make it 0, right? Because it really is solved. And both of these numbers plugged in make it 0, don't they? Right? Don't they both make them 0?
So they're just all the numbers we can make it 0?
Yes. In fact, we can. When you look at the front page, same thing. Those are the numbers that will make it 0. And on the front page, Scott, it's easy.
Are we always solving from 0 in these questions?
Yes, we are. God, I hate potential scams. So even think about this, and we can do this in our head. We don't need any fancy math, but think about this. Negative 2 plus negative 2 plus 2. And 0 times anything is
0.
Right? Think about this. If x is 5 right here, it's 5 minus 5.
0.
And 0 times anything is. So we're just finding the values of x that make it 0. It does happen to be these numbers because these have a height or y value of 0. So we're eventually going to start calling these things zeros. Right? Okay, now let's take a look at the last example. Okay, the last example just needs one invisible number. What's my invisible number?
1.
Yeah, there's an invisible 1 right here. Everybody agree with that?
Yep.
Now, these two don't have any numbers in common, but they have something else in common. What do they have in common? So if we take out the x, what goes inside? What's left over and goes inside? Well, 3x minus 1. That's why that invisible number is important, right? You've got to have that invisible number of 1. Okay, so then I can set my mini equations. 0 equals x, and 3x minus 1 equals 0, right? Well, this one's already solved. You agree? That one's already solved. Solved. Boom. This one, though, plus 1, 3x equals 1, divide by 3, 1/3. So check it out. I mean, I'll show you. If I go 3 times 1/3 squared minus 1 times 1/3, my answer should probably be 0, shouldn't it? Should my answer be 0? Of course it is. Of course it's 0, right? So we're finding the values of x that make it 0. And there's two answers, aren't they? I mean, I could do the 0 here. 3 times 0 squared minus 1 times 0. That's going to be 0 also, right? Yeah, 0. Okay, what do you think? Pretty easy? No, and I've got a pretty easy assignment for you. We're going to go and do page 51 and 52. We're going to do 1 to 25 odd. Don't do them all odd, okay? Do you want to take a little mass break first? Yeah, you want to go outside and play a little game of 21 or something? You guys want